Welcome to Book Summaries. Dear friends, today we will summarize the book Atomic Habits by James Clear. This book has changed the way we view habits and personal development. James Clear offers practical methods for building good habits, eliminating bad habits, and harnessing the power of small actions to achieve significant results. Whether you want to improve your health, work, or personal happiness, the principles in this book can assist you on your journey of change. Imagine you could improve every area of your life by making just 1% progress each day. Small changes that may seem insignificant can lead to remarkable results over time. In Atomic Habits, James Clear demonstrates the power of tiny habits and how they can accumulate to create major changes. It's not just about willpower or motivation, but about creating a system that makes good habits natural and bad habits difficult. Stay with us to explore practical strategies that will help you achieve your goals, whether big or small. If you've ever struggled with making lasting changes or wondered how successful people build their habits, this summary is for you. Let's discover the power of Atomic Habits by James Clear. The surprising power of atomic habits awaits. In 2003, a significant event occurred in British cycling. Since 1908, British riders had won only one gold medal at the Olympic Games, and for 110 years, no British rider had won the Tour de France. The performance was so poor that no leading bicycle manufacturer wanted to collaborate with the team for fear of damaging their reputation. However, when British Cycling hired Dave Brailsford, something unprecedented happened. What set him apart was his commitment to a strategy called the aggregation of marginal gains, which involved seeking improvements in every small detail. Dave Brailsford began implementing small adjustments for his team, such as redesigning the saddle for greater comfort, requiring riders to wear electrically heated shorts to maintain optimal muscle temperature, and applying alcohol to the tires to improve grip. These minor changes led to significant improvements and better results. At the Beijing Olympics in 2008, the racing team performed exceptionally well. However, how did an ordinary team become world champions with just a few small changes? The significant difference from these small efforts might seem unbelievable. We often fail to notice small improvements, even if they are just 1%. However, the effects of these changes do not become apparent immediately. They often take years to be seen clearly. For example, if you improve by 1% each day, by the end of the year, you will be 37 times better. Habits work like compound interest in self-improvement. Though their impact is not immediate, it becomes evident after months of practice. On the contrary, bad habits often take a long time to eliminate because they develop slowly. If you eat an unhealthy meal today, your weight might not change immediately, but if you repeat this behavior, you will see negative results. Whether you succeed today is less important than your habits, as habits determine whether you are heading in the right direction. Your habits shape your identity. Breaking bad habits and building good ones is difficult, especially when bad habits are deeply ingrained. The reason is that we often try to change the wrong things or use ineffective methods. Many people start changing by focusing on the desired outcome, but if we focus on becoming the person we want to be, habits will form more easily. For example, if a person wants to quit smoking and is offered a cigarette, the first person might say, "No, thank you, I'm trying to quit smoking," which indicates that they still see themselves as a smoker trying to change. Meanwhile, the second person might say, "No, thank you, I don't smoke," which shows that they see themselves as a non-smoker. Changing the way you express yourself can alter your identity. Most people do not consider changing their identity when they want to improve themselves. When you take pride in a particular aspect of yourself, you will be motivated to maintain new habits. Decide who you want to become and make small changes in your routines to prove that to yourself. Building better habits can be achieved in 4 simple steps. In 1898, psychologist Edward Thorndike conducted an experiment to understand how habits and behaviors form. He studied animal behavior by placing cats in a box with a door that could be opened by pressing a lever or pulling a string. Initially, the cats tried to escape by sniffing around and scratching the walls, but after some time, they realized that pressing the lever would open the door and help them escape. Over repeated trials, the cats began pressing the lever faster and making fewer mistakes, showing that they had formed a habit. Edward Thorndike observed that behaviors that led to satisfying results tended to be repeated, while ineffective behaviors were less likely to be performed. The process of habit formation can be broken down into 4 simple steps. The first step is the cue, which stimulates our brain and sends a signal to initiate behavior. This cue can be anything that suggests a potential reward and often leads to desire. Desire is the driving force behind action. Without the urge to change, we have no reason to act. For example, you might not crave smoking itself, but you crave the relief it provides. Next is the response, which is the specific action you take, whether it's a thought or a physical act. Whether or not the response occurs depends on the level of motivation and the effort required. If the action requires too much effort, it may not become a habit. Finally, there is the reward, the ultimate goal of the habit, which satisfies the desire and reinforces future behavior. When a cue suggests a reward, desire drives you to find a way to achieve it, and your response leads to that reward. Understanding this loop helps you design better habits and break bad ones. The first step to success is to make everything clear. There is a story about a woman who worked as an emergency medical technician at a family gathering. She was concerned about her father-in-law's health and advised him to go to the hospital immediately. Just a few hours later, he had to undergo surgery for a major artery blockage that risked causing a heart attack at any moment. Thanks to her keen observation, his life was saved. Our brains work like predictive machines, constantly observing small details and monitoring our environment. For example, an EMT can recognize a heart attack patient just by looking at their face because their brain has learned to identify crucial signs. Similarly, you can start noticing important signs in your own life if you pay attention and practice. These signs often become so familiar that we no longer recognize them. To build new habits, you need to pay attention to your current habits. This can be a challenge, as habits are often automatic and formed over many years. The biggest challenge is becoming aware of what you are actually doing. To do this, make a list of your daily habits and assess each behavior to determine whether it is good, bad, or neutral. Don't try to change anything right away. Just focus on awareness and avoid blaming yourself for mistakes or praising yourself too much for successes. The process of behavior change begins with awareness. A study in the UK in 2001, involving 248 participants, explored how to build better exercise habits. The first group only tracked their exercise frequency. The second group was instructed to track their exercise and read about its benefits, while the third group received information and motivation similar to the second group but also had to create a specific plan about when and where they would exercise. For example, they wrote, "Next week, I will exercise for at least 20 minutes on this day, at this time, at this location." In the first and second groups, only about 35% to 38% of participants exercised at least once a week, indicating that just providing motivation did not have a significant impact on their behavior. However, in the third group, up to 91% of participants exercised at least once a week. Those in the third group who wrote down a specific plan about when and where they would exercise saw a significant improvement. Researchers refer to this as implementation intentions, which is a detailed plan that helps people stay connected to their goals. Many people believe they lack motivation, but in reality, they are unclear about their goals. Knowing exactly when and where you will act is not always straightforward. However, the first rule of behavior is to make everything clear. Specifying your intentions helps create clear signals for your habits and allows you to establish a concrete plan regarding the timing and location of your actions. Having a detailed plan significantly increases your ability to maintain a new habit. When you clearly define the time and place for action, you turn vague intentions into specific plans, enhancing your chances of execution. Motivation is often overrated. Our surroundings are frequently more important. At Massachusetts General Hospital in Boston, Dr. Ann Thorndike tested a new method to improve the eating habits of staff and visitors without changing their motivation or making any announcements. She and her colleagues rearranged the drinks in the hospital cafeteria, moving soda away from the refrigerator near the cash register and replacing it with water. Soda was still available in the main refrigerator, but water was now more accessible everywhere. Over 3 months, soda sales dropped by 11%, while bottled water sales increased by 25%. Similarly, they also changed the way food was arranged, and the results were consistent. Although no one noticed the change, its impact was significant. Often, people don't choose food because they want to eat it but because it is placed in front of them. Imagine you walk into the kitchen and see a plate of cookies. You might start eating immediately, not because you're hungry, but because they're right in front of you. Your habits can change similarly, depending on where you are and the signals around you. The environment greatly influences our behavior, even though our personalities may vary. Many automatic behaviors are formed due to environmental conditions. Unfortunately, our living and working environments often lack clear signals to stimulate desired behaviors. If you want a habit to become an important part of your life, you need to make the signals related to that habit clear in your surroundings. This means that to develop good habits, you should design your living space to support those habits. For example, if you want to drink more water, place water bottles in several locations around your home. If you want to read more, keep books in places you frequently pass by. Small changes in your environment can help encourage positive behaviors and reduce reliance on mere motivation. In 1971, during the Vietnam War, 2 legislators, Robert Steele and Morgan Murphy, discovered a shocking fact: about 15% of US troops in Vietnam were addicted to drugs. Research indicated that 35% of soldiers had tried heroin, and 20% of those were addicted. This discovery led to the establishment of a special action office to support the rehabilitation of these soldiers upon their return to the US. Lee Robbins, a research director, demonstrated that changes in environment could rapidly reduce drug addiction. Soldiers in Vietnam lived in an environment with many stimulating factors for heroin use, but when they returned to the US, where those stimulating factors were absent, their habits changed. This research challenged the cultural belief that the solution to all problems is discipline. In reality, the study showed that individuals with strong self-control were not significantly different from those who struggled. They simply avoided tempting situations. Those with good self-control often did not need to use that ability much because they had structured their environment to support good habits and make bad habits harder to follow through on. Instead of solely relying on discipline, you should focus on optimizing your environment. Make the factors that encourage good habits more visible and make the factors that trigger bad habits less noticeable. To develop good habits, design your environment to support those habits. For example, if you want to drink more water, place water bottles around your living space. If you want to read more, keep books in places you frequent. Small changes in your environment can encourage positive behaviors and reduce reliance on sheer willpower. One way to make a habit more appealing is to pair it with an activity you enjoy. In Dublin, Ireland, an electrical engineering student named Ronan Byrne connected his stationary bike to his laptop and TV to watch Netflix only when he pedaled at a certain speed. This made exercising more enjoyable for him. This is an example of combining a necessary action with a desired action based on a psychological principle known as the Premick principle. It suggests that you are more likely to perform a less desirable activity if it is linked to a more desirable one. To make a habit more appealing or effective, pair it with something you love. For instance, if you enjoy listening to audiobooks but need to exercise, listen to your favorite audiobooks only while exercising. This will make exercising, which you might find less interesting, more appealing by combining it with your interest in audiobooks. This technique is effective because it combines immediate gratification with long-term benefits, making the habit harder to refuse. By making the necessary actions appealing, you are more likely to maintain them, thereby creating a sustainable habit that doesn't feel like a chore. Family and friends play a crucial role in shaping your habits. We don't choose our initial habits, we mimic them. We learn by observing our family, friends, local community, schools, and broader society. Each culture and social group has its own standards that influence our habits. We unconsciously imitate those close to us, learning from their habits. We adopt behaviors and problem-solving methods similar to those of our parents or those around us. We also imitate our colleagues. There is a famous rule that if you are close to someone, you are likely to mimic their behavior. Research shows that if a friend is obese, your chances of becoming obese increase by 57%. And this is also true in the opposite direction. In a way, our friends and family act as an invisible peer pressure, and we tend to follow their lead. However, peer pressure is only harmful when it leads to negative influences. Therefore, the best thing you can do is to join a community where your good habits are encouraged and celebrated. Being surrounded by people who have the habits you want to develop will make it easier for you to adopt those habits. Your environment, including social relationships, plays a crucial role in shaping your behavior. Being part of a supportive community can reinforce positive habits and increase the likelihood of maintaining them. To find and address the root causes of bad habits, connect them with a positive mindset. We often say things like, "I have to do this," or "I have to do that," but if we just change one word, we can shift our perspective entirely. Instead of saying, "I have to go to work," say, "I get to go to work." By changing the wording, you completely alter your viewpoint. This way, you highlight the benefits of the habit rather than the obstacles and disadvantages. The key to finding and fixing the root causes of bad habits is to change how you relate to them. By thinking differently, you can transform any challenging habit into an enjoyable one. For example, if you dislike exercising, instead of thinking, "I have to exercise," think, "I get to exercise and improve my health." This subtle change in language emphasizes the positive outcomes rather than the effort involved. Such a change can make a significant difference in how you perceive and approach your habits. By focusing on the benefits and positive aspects, you can shift your mindset and more easily maintain good habits. This approach helps you appreciate the advantages of the action, making it more appealing and sustainable in the long run. The third rule, make it easy, go slowly, but never back down, and form habits, is a process where behavior through repeated action gradually becomes an automatic reflex. Repeating habits leads to noticeable changes in brain structure. For example, the cerebellum of musicians is larger compared to those who do not play music. Each time you perform an action, you activate a specific neural circuit related to that habit. The time it takes to form a habit is less important than the frequency of execution. Time is not the determining factor. What matters is how often you perform that behavior. Whether you perform an action twice in 40 days or 200 times, frequency is more important than the length of time. To form any habit, you need to practice consistently. The key to making the habit easier is to focus on small, manageable steps with the goal of minimizing difficulty when starting a new habit. For example, if you want to start exercising, begin with just a few minutes each day instead of committing to an hour of workout immediately. Gradually increase the time as the habit becomes more established. By making the habit easier and reducing barriers at the start, you will increase the likelihood of maintaining it. Simplify the process and break the habit down into smaller, more achievable steps. Remember, progress may be slow, but as long as you keep moving forward and don't give up, you are on the right track. Energy is precious, and our brains are designed to conserve energy whenever possible. People tend to follow the law of least effort, meaning that when faced with two similar options, we often choose the one that requires less effort. Every action requires a certain amount of energy, and when more energy is needed, we are less likely to perform that action. Each habit can be seen as an obstacle between you and the desired result. For example, dieting is an obstacle to achieving fitness, and meditation is an obstacle to attaining mental peace. You don't like the habit itself but rather the result it brings. However, if people generally tend to be lazy, how can some achieve difficult goals? The solution is to create an environment where doing the right things becomes as easy as possible, thereby reducing the friction of obstacles. For instance, food delivery services reduce the need to go grocery shopping, and dating apps reduce the effort of social introductions. When forming better habits, find ways to reduce the friction related to good habits and increase the friction related to bad habits. For example, make your workout clothes easily accessible and ready to wear, or prepare healthy meals in advance to avoid the temptation of unhealthy food. By designing your environment to support your goals, you make maintaining good habits easier and falling into bad habits harder. This approach helps you conserve energy and maintain consistency with desired behaviors, thus achieving goals with less effort. To stop procrastinating, apply the 2-minute rule. If you want to start a major task, even if it seems easier by taking big steps, you should still begin with small steps. We often try to do too much too quickly due to the excitement of change. A useful strategy is the 2-minute rule. According to this, when starting a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to complete. Most habits can be scaled down to a 2-minute version. For example, if you want to read a book before bed, instead of committing to read an entire chapter, you can start by reading 1 page each night. To build a 30-minute yoga routine, you might begin by simply rolling out your yoga mat. The key is to make starting the habit easy, whether you're meditating for 1 minute, reading a page, folding an item, or performing any small action. The important thing is to begin. Doing what feels right is an effective strategy. People might think that reading 1 page a day is insignificant, but what's essential is that you're performing the habit. Starting with the first 2 minutes can help build a larger habit. This is a good way to become proficient in any skill. Once the habit is established, you'll practice it regularly and perfectly. Combining the 2-minute rule with habit-building techniques will help you achieve your ultimate goal. After the habit is stable, elevate it to the next level and continue the process until you become an expert. Only after achieving mastery should you move on to the next level. Ultimately, the habits you want to build will become part of your inner character. In the summer of 1830, French writer Victor Hugo faced a challenging deadline. He had promised the publisher a new book 12 months earlier but had made no progress. Instead, he started other projects, which delayed the completion of his work. Frustrated, the publisher set a strict 6-month deadline, requiring Hugo to finish the book before February 1831. To tackle this challenge, Hugo devised a special strategy. He handed all his clothes to his assistant and asked him to lock them away, leaving him with no clothes to go outside. Hugo was forced to stay home and fully concentrate on writing. Throughout the fall and winter of 1830, he worked diligently, and his book, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, was published 2 weeks ahead of the deadline, on January 14, 1831. Success is not just about making good habits easy but also about making bad habits difficult. To make good habits indispensable and bad habits challenging, you need to design your environment to support your goals. To change a habit, start by removing temptations, just as Victor Hugo removed his clothes to prevent himself from going outside. For example, if you want to eat healthier, remove unhealthy foods from your home. Next, increase the friction for bad habits by making them harder to perform. If you want to stop wasting time on social media, log out of your accounts or delete the apps from your phone. Conversely, decrease the friction for good habits by making them easier to perform. For instance, prepare your workout clothes the night before if you want to exercise in the morning. Create a positive environment by placing books around your living space if you want to read more. Publicly commit to your goals to add accountability, and make withdrawal difficult by strategically designing your environment and removing obstacles. By doing so, you can make good habits easier to maintain and bad habits harder to carry out. The fourth rule is to make habits satisfying, because when an experience brings satisfaction, we tend to repeat that behavior. For example, before the advent of flavors, chewing gum was unappealing, but since 1891, the introduction of flavors has made it more enjoyable. This shows that an uninteresting experience lacks the motivation for repetition. The main rule of behavior change is that behaviors that are reinforced will be repeated, while those that are punished will be avoided. However, we seek immediate gratification rather than long-term rewards. Bad habits often provide immediate satisfaction but have negative long-term consequences, while good habits might be difficult initially but offer long-term benefits. Immediate rewards are often prioritized over future rewards. People typically seek instant gratification rather than waiting for long-term benefits. For a behavior to become easy to repeat, its endpoint needs to provide satisfaction. If you want to break a bad habit, make the change enjoyable, because change will be easier when it brings pleasure. To make good habits more satisfying, you can track your progress by recording it or creating a chart to mark your achievements. This will provide immediate gratification and a sense of accomplishment. Reward yourself by creating a regular system for completing habits. For example, treat yourself to a small gift after finishing a workout or a task. Use visual cues, such as adding a coin to a jar each time you complete a habit, and seeing the jar fill up can provide satisfaction and motivation. Make the habit enjoyable by choosing activities you like. For instance, if you want to exercise, choose sports or activities like dancing that you enjoy. Ensure that the good habit is satisfying and pleasant to increase the likelihood of maintaining it. The goal is to make the process enjoyable so that you naturally want to repeat the behavior, thereby reinforcing positive habits and eliminating negative ones. When Benjamin Franklin was young, he used a small notebook daily to track his 13 personal virtues, such as not wasting time and always working productively. At the end of each day, he would review his list and record his progress. This method, known as habit tracking, is an effective way to monitor your habits because it applies many principles of behavior change. First, habit tracking makes behaviors more visible, as each time you review the list, you see the recorded goals, which reinforces the behavior. Second, it makes habits more appealing because the greatest motivation is seeing progress. Third, habit tracking makes habits more satisfying because you can clearly see your progress. Checking off an item on a to-do list provides a great sense of satisfaction and helps you recognize your progress. Habit tracking is crucial for maintaining motivation because it helps you focus on your goals. To track habits effectively, you can use a notebook or an app to record daily habits, which provides a visual representation of your progress. You should also set clear goals to understand what success looks like, and specific goals help you know what needs to be done each day. Stay consistent by regularly checking and updating your daily habits, as consistency is crucial for building and maintaining habits. Don't forget to celebrate small victories. Even minor progress helps keep you motivated. Periodically review and track your habits to assess progress and make adjustments if needed. This helps you stay aligned with your goals. By integrating habit tracking into your daily routine, you create a system that reinforces good habits, providing a sense of accountability, motivation, and satisfaction. An accountability partner can make a significant difference by creating immediate consequences for your actions, which helps maintain commitment and discipline. Facing immediate consequences reduces the likelihood of procrastination, as you'll want to avoid being seen as lazy or unreliable by those who can help you achieve success. A responsible partner ensures that someone is always monitoring your progress. Such a partner can make a difference in many ways. They provide immediate feedback on your actions, helping you recognize and correct mistakes quickly. Knowing that someone is keeping an eye on you keeps you motivated to stay focused on your goals, and the desire not to disappoint your partner can be a strong motivator. Regular check-ins with a responsible partner ensure that you maintain consistency in your efforts, which is crucial for building and maintaining good habits. They also offer support and encouragement, helping you stay positive and focused on your goals. Additionally, they provide honest assessments of your progress, helping you identify areas for improvement and celebrate successes. To maximize the benefits of a responsible partnership, you should carefully choose someone you trust and respect, who is committed to helping you achieve your goals, clarifying what you want to achieve and how your partner can help you stay accountable. Schedule regular check-ins to discuss progress and any challenges you are facing. Be open and honest about your progress and difficulties, as transparency is key to effective collaboration. With a responsible partner, you can create a monitoring system and external support that helps you stay on track and achieve your goals more effectively. The strategy for improvement is the way to move from good to truly excellent. When you practice a habit long enough, it may start to feel boring and tedious. What once excited you may now just be a part of your day. This boredom is one of the greatest challenges you will face. We become frustrated with routines because they no longer provide the satisfaction they once did, and we always expect results. The truth is, it doesn't matter what you want to improve. If you only do it when you feel excited, you won't be consistent enough to achieve great results. There will be days when you want to give up, but the key is to continue even when it's painful, boring, or exhausting. This is what distinguishes amateurs from professionals. The only way to succeed is to do what you do with all your heart and enjoy it. The weakness of habits is that we often fail to notice small mistakes. When you do something repeatedly, you might not improve it. However, You don't need to worry too much about this because some habits don't require constant improvement. For example, how you tie your shoes doesn't need frequent updates. But if you want to master a skill, just having a habit isn't enough. You need to practice diligently until you achieve certain skills. To go from good to great, you need to accept the monotony, understand that it won't always be exciting, and continue to push through the routine. Always look for ways to improve your performance and avoid being locked into old thought patterns. Maintain a high level of self-awareness by regularly evaluating your performance and identifying areas that need improvement. Engage in deliberate practice, meaning practice with the intention to improve, focusing on the most challenging aspects, seeking feedback, and reflecting on it to understand what works and what doesn't. Then, adjust your approach based on the feedback you receive. By applying these strategies, you can move beyond initial excitement and daily habits to continue improving and achieve not only good but outstanding results. Conclusion: Atomic Habits by James Clear provides a comprehensive guide for understanding and changing our habits. The book not only presents theories but also practical steps that can be applied in daily life to achieve significant results by following 4 rules. Make it clear, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying. By creating a supportive environment for positive habits and minimizing negative ones, one of the key lessons is the importance of small and gradual changes. Often, we underestimate the power of small improvements. When performed consistently over time, even a 1% improvement made daily can lead to significant changes in life. Focusing on the process rather than the outcome helps maintain motivation and commitment to goals. The book also emphasizes the role of environment and social relationships in habit formation. Surrounding yourself with positive, like-minded individuals and designing your space to encourage good behavior can make a substantial difference in maintaining new habits. Author James Clear also emphasizes the importance of self-awareness and deliberate practice to achieve mastery. Not only do you need to perform a habit, but you must also continuously improve and adapt to new challenges. This requires a lifelong learning mindset and resilience in the face of boredom and failure. In Atomic Habits, James Clear provides a plan to build a better life through the power of small habits. By understanding the science behind habit formation and applying the discussed strategies, you can create lasting change and unlock your full potential. Remember, success is not a single major event but a series of small, consistent actions over time. Start with small steps, maintain consistency, and watch as your efforts accumulate into extraordinary results. Thank you for listening to the summary and audiobook of Atomic Habits by James Clear. We hope you find the insights and strategies in the book helpful and that they inspire you to make small, positive changes in your life. It is these small, consistent actions that are key to making significant progress over time. By making good habits clear, attractive, easy, and satisfying, you can create a supportive system for continuous improvement and success. If you enjoyed this summary and found it valuable, please consider subscribing to our channel and sharing it with friends and family. Your support helps us bring more engaging content like this. Don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what habits you plan to build or change using the principles from Atomic Habits. Follow us for more summaries and insights from top personal development books. Until next time, keep striving for progress, not perfection, and watch your efforts accumulate into extraordinary results. Thank you. Book summary. Wishing you success.